My Mom and I. Please, real story animated. Make my story animated. Hi, I'm Tiffany, and I'm almost 17, and I'm fun to be with, like adventures, and in my melancholic nature, I love taking risks. But I don't tolerate it when I'm underrated or intimidated. I love my parents, honestly. The open secret remains that their incompatibility is nothing good to write home about. And that's what kills my joy most times. Dad has always complained about Mom's infidelity in their marriage. The last straw that broke the camel's back was on one fateful day I was right in my room while I believed that Mom had already gone to bed. And for all we know, Dad was gone for a business trip in Australia, and we expected his arrival in 2 days' time. Suddenly, I began to hear a manly voice in Mom's room. Could Dad have come back by this time? Oh no! I called Dad's line, and his autoresponder responded that he was in a meeting. That means Dad isn't in town. Then who is this man that I'm hearing his voice in Mom's room? Then, in my suspense mood, I drew nearer to Mom's door to hear this voice better, and lo, it was the black bug guy I normally see Mom drop off whenever she came to pick me up from school. Oh, really? I guess she decided to bring this big guy, Mr. Frank, home tonight, because the dad isn't at home. I can hear the romantic voices and actions, unlike Dad, who isn't perfectly romantic. I started peeping through the door handle. I could not believe my eyes. As cool as the evening was, Mom's body was so inviting to Mr. Frank that he couldn't hold his emotions anymore. And then he made a move towards her. Suddenly, they were already floating on the cloud, gazing into each other's eyes. Frank gently pulls her so close to his daring heart, hoping they do not part ways even for a second. As Mom wrapped in his arms, imagining them taking a journey into time together, breathing passionate words of love into his ears. Like a bolt from the blues, his fingertips stroke softly throughout her hair with such divine affection and care. Frank's body, creating heat of passion, building within, emitting vibes that erupt deep down her gentle soul, and wrap her in his arms, imagining eternity. As he felt the smoothness of her skin, his mind fantasized as their bodies interlocked in the sea of emotions, creating much energy and passion, heating up deep down their souls. The response was too real for Mom to believe this is happening to him. I can see that from Mom's body language. She softly said to him, "Frankie, come and be lost within me forever. I feel myself being a part of you from the onset. That I dragged you into the car has been all about Frank inside my mind, and the seconds fleet into minutes, minutes ticking into hours, and the hours clicking into eternity. It's just a fantasy with such a wonderful design as we both float downstream to where we could be." He kissed her so passionately, holding out dreams of daring chances as I feel like flying on angel's wings with you. Frank whispered to her succulent ears, just as the cool morning breeze gathers where shadows will be at sunrise. He held her hands with lips locked in unison until they stroll into the path of scented bliss, till the dream ends in the terrestrial sky before the cock crows. Oh my goodness, I realize that I've actually been stooping all night in front of Mom's door, following every bit of their moves. I was lucky enough. It was a Saturday morning, and I dozed back to my room because my sleep was actually deprived of me by the 2 lovebirds. With the look of things, Mom seems to feel very much safe and cared for with Mr. Frank. Then I began to understand what the bone of contention may be in my parents' soured relationship. Mom really needed a man to care for her and treat her like a queen she is, and not business conference today, business meeting tomorrow. That fateful Saturday morning, I was woken up by the shouts and voices of grievances and anger. And I heard my dad's voice very clear, roaring like a lion, just as usual whenever he is scolding at Mom. I was getting confused more this time. Did I mistake Dad for Mr. Frank? Just as usual, I crept out of my room. This time, Mom's room was not locked. It was wide open. No, it can't be. I have never seen Mom and Dad in such atmosphere of emotions and bond before. When I came close to her room, I saw him. It was Dad. I greeted both, and of course, I didn't expect them to respond to my greetings anyway. They continued in exchanging words. Then I knew there is a fire on the mountain because Dad came back with an early morning flight. He said on getting to Australia, the meeting was held in a jiffy, and he had to make his way back to the state. Then I heard Mom screaming, "Go, go, go!" I'm tired and fed up with all these. It's over between us. That was how Mom and Dad got separated. Then, according to the law, I live with my mom till date believing that someday a miracle will happen and both of them will come together again. However, I love my parents. I just needed more. More care, more attention, more love, and more togetherness. Sincerely, when I see other kids together with their parents go on vacations, shopping, sports, and all that, I feel jealous. During my 16th birthday, I wished I could get all I wanted in my parents. The atmosphere was smiling at me as I blow out the candlesticks, standing in front of a gigantic cake with my both parents standing beside me. One on the left and one on the right, and then they both handed over something wrapped in a gift bag. What could it be? I thought aloud. Wow, it's a phone! I mean, 2 different lovely phones. What a birthday! Then the music was rolled, and I danced and danced in my Cinderella pink gown. Unfortunately, it was a dream. How I wish this is not a mere dream, but a reality. But I believe in dreams becoming reality. I believe it will come to pass one day. Oh yes, it is my birthday. How I wish it would be celebrated in a grand style. It is funny because when I turned 16, my mom promised to buy me a phone. I kept reminding her about that until one day a strange event that I couldn't understand. Something happened after turning me around a couple of times, and for my 16th birthday, my dad wanted to buy me a phone, but my mom never wanted to see me with him or allow him to do anything for me. Note that my mom is this type of independent woman. She insisted that she wants to buy it for me, and I was happy because finally I'm going to have my own phone. On my birthday, Mom did not throw any party around for me. All I got was an early morning pat on my back and whispering, "Happy birthday, my little angel. I promise I'm going to get your phone today." Wow! That sounds interesting, and trust me, I kept reminding her that day. "Mom, my phone!" On that day, I waited till evening. The waiting was too long. My mom keeps saying a bit later, but suddenly she asked me to dress up, of which I did, although she was acting as someone who was waiting for somebody until finally she got the call from a colleague which she was waiting for, and we head to shopping. I enjoy driving with Mom, so we went in her car. We passed the store where we should stop and buy the phone. "Mom, that's the shop," I said in excitement. Rather, she apologized that she needed to visit her colleague at the castle. As a child, there are things I don't debate with Mom. We arrive at the colleague's house, and it was a big house. I loved it. He had 3 cars and 2 dogs. Mom knows that I like dogs, so she said to me, "Tiffany, you play with the dogs, and I will get back pretty quick." "Yes, Mom," I responded. I started playing with Japs and Jade. As I was engrossed in the fun, after some time another man with a big black car entered the house, and then comes another one, and after 5 minutes, another one. I was wondering what is going on. My mom came to meet this colleague, and here are 3 more visitors in there, and I'm not seeing my mom coming out. So I decided to go inside, and upon approach, no one was in the living room. It was silence except the weird noise coming from far away, and it sounded like someone is clapping. One door was opened in one of the rooms, but all of the rooms were dark or less lighted, and I came closer and called Mom. No one answered, and then I came even closer, and the clapping sound started increasing. Clap, 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 and sometimes even faster, clap, clap, clap. And then I heard someone saying, "Yeah," and again, clap, clap, clap. And then I heard the voice of Mom saying, "Yeah, yeah, ah, you are good." Then she increased the speed of the exclamation. "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah! Oh, thank you, yeah, yeah, and finally, yes! Let's do it, I thought. This is a fight, or what's going on? At this moment, I called loudly, "Mom, are you okay?" Everything stopped, and they all get out saying, "Yes, let's do it. Congratulations." But then I asked Mom, what was that clapping noise? And all that she said was, I pitched them an idea for a startup business, and yes, they agreed to fund the project. But then one thing that got me thinking was the physical appearance of the 3 men. They were sweating profusely, looking like men that just engaged on a physical combat, sapped of all their energy with this post-ejaculation, their minds numbed down, tired, and walking slowly, gulping down some drink. Immediately we went to the store, but while we were going, I asked her what were those weird noises, and she said it was nothing serious. They were all excited. And yes, I know she was excited because when she got out from that room, she was a bit reddish in her face somehow, and her voice was cracky, because she really shouted so much. My mom also told me not to discuss what happened with anyone for any reason. I knew she was warning me about this because of my dad. He calls me every 2 days to know what's happening around Mom, and she also told me that this need to be kept secret forever. Forever? Why is she holding this event so tight? For me, I see no big deal in it. Oh, but I will adhere to her instructions. With my sense of curiosity, I also asked her, why are all her colleagues men? There is no other female amongst them except you. She responded that they couldn't make it that day, but would come in the next meeting. I'm glad that finally my mom is happy, and she's going to make her dream come true. And I've got a new phone. But what was weird is that my mom never started that business, and now we are almost 1 year from there. This also means that my phone is 1 year old, too. But I hope she will buy me a new one when I turn 17 next week. What do you guys think? What should I do so my mom will buy me a new phone? Please, like this video if you think it was not a business consultation. And leave a comment if you think it was something else going on.
Hi, I am Ria. I am a very ambitious and hardworking young girl of 19. I am the second daughter of my parents. People around see me as a beauty diva, but I honestly do not care. We lived an average life since my father couldn't get enough earning from his job. As a college student of biology at Phoenix University, I have always been passionate about being a surgeon doctor, so I kept studying. I was so studious that I never had time for partying, clubbing, and making friends. Although I know that I had a lot of admirers, but I still don't give a damn. I remained focused on my course. I lived a stereotyped life in college, from the lecture room to the hostel, from the hostel to the library. However, I have one fault. I am an extremist, so you don't have to wonder why I am serious with my academics. I promised my dad to make him proud and tried to make good grades. My world came to a standstill just 24 hours to my first semester examination, as I was engrossingly studying biology, that I forgot that I have not eaten since morning and it was almost 4 p.m., and I suddenly slumped. The next place I saw myself was in a hospital bed. My father came, and the diagnosis proved that I had a hole in my heart that has accumulated badly, and the only solution that is beyond therapy is to have a heart transplant. So I was booked for a heart transplant. I wondered where on earth a donor can be gotten from. I felt devastated as I watched myself lying helplessly. Indeed, life dishes up so many: injury, illness, tragedies, abandonment. Though we may share replica experiences, yet every hurt differs. And no matter how many times our loved ones say, "We understand," they don't. You may even get pissed off at their words. It was not easy for me to bear this pain, as I was viciously knocked down by life. I was psychologically tripping and falling. I felt the impulse to rise and start moving. Oh, hell no. It's not possible. I was so weak. Agony descended on me. What shall become of my dreams? Nobody could cheer me up because I was living a friendless life. So my only succor is my family, my father and mother, and the doctors and nurses who kept speaking life into me. My parents started sourcing for funds to save my life. A lot of thoughts were already running through my brains. Where on earth will my dad get such amount of money? What will happen to me after now? It was quite challenging, but my dad determined to see that his only child lived. After 48 hours, the doctor told us that the only solution to the challenge is to keep checking if there would be instant accident cases that claim lives. In such cases, with the permission of the government, victims can be operated and the organs sold. Coincidentally, there was news of an accident that claimed 7 lives that same day. And from one of the victims, they got a heart for the transplant. It took hours to carry out the surgery, but at last it was successful. Everyone was happy as I gradually recovered with added beauty. But I started feeling different within myself. I lost interest for education. I hardly attend lectures, talk more of reading. People said I became rude and inhuman. And then my dress code automatically changed. I started disliking decent and corporate wears and preferred sexy and nude clothing. I started liking dancing. I got myself trained to be a strip dancer. Wherever there is a club, that's where you find me, no matter the time. Luckily enough, I got a job at a strip nightclub in town. I enjoyed my new job and entertained my customers well such that I was second to none in strip dancing. I was having a good time with the job and even started mingling with the manager. We became close and had fun severally. I got attracted to the manager the very first day I came to apply for the job, and the manager responded positively. On the night of Boîte de la Boîte, I rolled badly that my moves and rolls attracted Mr. Black, the manager of the strip club. I never knew he was crushing on me. For the very first times I was dancing, my fist lost control and I almost fell off the strip with my head bowed to the earth, and I suddenly felt a hand that gripped me. On lifting my head, behold, it was Mr. Black. He whispered to me, "I love you. You remind me of someone special." He carried me down from the stage as I walked into my room panting like a dog that lost a fight. Then I asked who it was I reminded him of. He told me that it was his love that works here in the strip club that died some months ago, and he feels the same thing for me. Even right now, it's as if he is seeing her. I got scared the more. What was the date of the accident? I inquired. 7th of February, 2006, he responded. He also told me that it was 7 persons that died and the hospital they were rushed to. I immediately left him there and went to the hospital where my surgery was carried out and made all the inquiries. The document of the transplant was shown to me, as well as the photocopied death certificate which Mr. Black gave me, and it was confirmed that it was Soya's heart that was transplanted to me. My goodness, I couldn't believe it. I dropped a note that explains my findings to him at the bar and went home weak and confused to do anything, but I have to start preparing for the night show. I never knew that Black was still in love for me, not minding what I do for a living. How I strip myself at nightclub was not his concern. While in my cubicle, my white towel tied around my waist after having a cool shower, as I was applying my body cream, I heard the sounding of someone opening my door. I felt it was my roommate, but it was not her. It was a tall, heavily built, and a cute guy standing with his legs crossed in front of my door. It was Mr. Black. I was dumbfounded. He calmly closed the door and made his way towards me. I was becoming nervous, and trust me, I have never been this nervous before a man since I became wild doing my strip dance business. However, I decided to overcome this nervousness as I stood up. He held me on my slippery arms. There was this feeling that moved within my arteries and veins that got me shaking. This is not me! Immediately, he whispered into my ears, "You cannot run away from me. Even if you run, you cannot hide. If you hide, there's only one place you can hide, and that is in here," pointing to his heart. As his passionate eyes were already gazing into my eyes, I wondered where this is heading. As I turned round and slowly bending my head just to avoid his charming looks, he raised my head gently, lifting my jaw. As I gazed into his eyes this second time, I became more tensed. He still fixed his brown eyes looking into mine with uttermost devotion and commitment. I was ready to strip because I thought he wanted a quick fun as usual so that I can attend to other customers. Instead, he took the cream that was still in my hands, offering to help me finish the application as he gently applied the cream. Myriads of thought kept flowing in me. I was engrossed with the movement of his hands, and I felt this passionate bliss and heat that is rising within me as I got more intensified. It was truly a mixed feeling. Mr. Black put his arm around my waist, lifting me on the sofa, and knelt before me. Surprisingly, he never did anything but kept looking into my eyes. "Rhea, you are indeed the bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh, and I promise to make you happy and fulfill all your dreams. I thank God that my lost love was brought back to me. Please, will you marry me?" As he kisses in a golden ring into my mouth. I said yes to him. Yeah, I accepted to marry him because since I met him, I have full joy. Immediately, he carried me up in ecstasy with the tears in his eyes. "I will make you the happiest woman on earth," he screamed. We were very happy, laughing without fear in words on the cushion as the stars light up the sky like a treasure in an island. Our hearts skip in ecstasy as they feel the waves' current whispering secrets as old as creation to our souls, telling folklores of a magnetic love so far, yet near to immortals. And as the cool morning breeze rushes to our feet like children at play in a sonata moonlight. Those affirmative words spiced with a soothing touch, a healer of sorrows and pains in his boredom, moment when the past is erased and a new beginning born to fertilize the soul and purge every detail of heartbreak away. As we lay on the floor of the dunes, I heard the splashing of the waters creating ripples as the birds sing lullaby songs to celebrate a new beginning. A moment carved so deep into the sands of time. A moment that defines who we are. And moment that sticks forever. Never-ending episodes that only the morning dews could melt away into forever. I have come to love a heart as soft as yours, Rhea, my love. This is reality and dream come true. It serenades both body and soul. Black said to me as my strip dance job ended that night with Black by my side. I am Dia, and I'm 17. I am very bright, but there are indelible marks that seem to be stigma to which I've tried to deal with. It has not been easy, but I tried my best to push through. When I was 12, I had an accident with a boiling water when my mother was cooking in the kitchen. I sustained injury on my right arm. My skin peeled as a result of the incident. It looked ugly, and I never like. Yeah, it was because of this reason that I covered it all the time at school. It was my decision not to disclose it with my friends' friends, and I maintained. There was this guy in my school. We do homework together, and when we play games, we make the team. He is a funny guy, fair and tall. On our last day at school, before vacation, a group of us agreed to go swim, and we chose a popular swimming pool not too far from our school. We were all excited, and off we went, but before our arrival, I was a bit moody, having remembered my scar since it must be uncovered and seen by everyone. On arrival, everyone jumped into the pool, but I was hiding myself to avoid what I knew. Finally, I joined my friends, and while I was swimming, I was searching for my friend Tim. But to my amazement, Tim was nowhere to be found. I kept swimming and searching until finally I saw him sitting at a corner, still putting on his navy blue jeans and white canvas. I took a pillow, covered my scar, and came out of the pool. Went straight to him and asked, "Why don't you swim with us? Especially me?" He answered and said he does not really like. After the swimming experience, we went home together. But while in the bus, I asked him why he didn't join us to swim because I felt there must be a reason for his unbalanced excuse. He then opened up to me and said he has a scar on his leg. That's his reason for not swimming since he always avoids exposing it. At this point, I told him about my scar too, which was similar to his own. The difference is that mine is on my hand, while his own is on the leg. And he was surprised. While we were having our chat in the bus, a lady sitting close heard a little about our conversation. She gave me a sign with one eye, which means, "You guys are intimate friends. Right on." I caught the sign and responded in a lady's way too, and Tim was not even aware of that. When it was time for me to alight from the bus, I pretended I never knew we were close because I raised a funny joke which got I and Tim laughing out loud. When Tim realized the bus had passed where I should stop, he called my attention, but I told him not to worry. At this juncture, Tim surprised me by alighting a bus stop before his bus stop. I alighted with him together. We were now between his bus stop and mine. He said he will walk me down to mine, and as we were moving, we were gisting. After a long walk, we were close to my bus stop. Then he looked into my eyes and said to me, "Take care of yourself." I said to him, "I want to walk you down too." And he laughed and said I should not worry, but I insisted. When we were walking down to his way, he said he has never been this happy in all his life. He started telling me a story of how a girl laughed him to scorn. He said it started when I was 5. I was good at climbing, be it tree, stick, chair, and anything climbable. Both of us laughed as we were still walking. On that fateful Sunday morning, my dad was still in his room, and my mother was in the bathroom pasting. I was doing my climbing from one chair to another in the sitting room. It was time for breakfast, and my mother was preparing the table. Suddenly, I threw up my brown teddy bear. In my attempt to catch it, I hit my body on the dining table. The collision was so hard that the hot water for coffee turned and every drop of it poured on my leg as I was at the top of my voice. My mouth was already bleeding by the time Mum arrived because I also hit my face on the table. I was immediately raised and taken to the hospital. As a little boy of 5, my skin was so soft that it did not take a couple of minutes for my skin to start peeling. The doctor said nurses that attended to me did their best. Later on, I started recovering, but by the time I was out of pain, my skin was already looking scary and messy. I remember my dad always cautioned me about climbing. Then my father took me out for shopping. And as we were shopping, a woman with her daughter of about 10 or 11 years were also shopping. I was putting on half pant with wine red polo. As we were shopping, the girl that came shopping with her mom saw me, looked at me, and as I looked at her too, smiling, suddenly she looked down and saw the scar on my leg and gave me a shocking sign. Next, she came a bit closer, and after looking at my leg, bursted in laughter. I couldn't hold it, but I felt so cold. As I talk, her picture and all she did are fresh in my memory. I couldn't but held Tim on his right hand and said to him, "It's okay. It's all in the past. Thank God the hot water didn't come close to your handsome face." Tim smiled at me in such a manner as one that wants to say something emotional. By the time I looked up, we were close to Tim's bus stop. He said he must walk me down to my bus stop, and it was fun walking to and fro that day because we were not going to see till school resumes, and it was a long vacation. Something dramatic happened, and I was speechless as Tim was telling me his story. I recalled an encounter I had at a shopping mall with a boy. I still can remember that I laughed at a boy after taking a close look at the scar on his leg. I couldn't help but to tell Tim that I had a confession to make. He was amazed at such word and could be the confession. He said I should speak up. I told him to look at me and he did. I said to him, "I'm that girl you had the encounter with at the mall." He looked at me with utmost amazement. He looked at me, and I couldn't hold it. The fire came so strong in me, and I hugged him, and he held me so tight. I felt like I was in heaven with vanilla ice cream and chocolate. I said to him, "I love you. I love you. I love you so much." He replied, "I love you too." Tim told me that he was going to tell his dad what happened today, and I said he should not, but he insisted. I said it's okay if it will make you happy. We exchanged our house addresses. I hugged him again and again, and we said bye to each other. After a few steps, I would turn, and immediately I would see him turn too, and we would wave at each other. We kept doing that until we could not see each other. The memories didn't allow me eat, let alone sleep in the night. Every image I saw on the television that night was like Tim's image. I was a little insane that night. Some funny thoughts began to flash on my mind that night as I was in bed. 3 weeks after this unforgettable experience, something awesome and tragic happened. I remember sitting and watching my favorite television program, Shirley Temple. Suddenly, our doorbell rang, and my mom went to open the door. Behold, it was first a tall man entering, followed by a handsome guy. Guess who? It was my own Tim. I could not believe my eyes. I jumped up line a mountain deer and rushed Tim. He was full of smiles and laughter. This time, I could not hug him, but my spirit, soul, and body were all wrapping him. His lips were so charming that I would have committed an offense if not for the presence of our parents. Even as our parents were exchanged pleasantries, honestly, I was tapping serious current from his hand. I felt like not leaving that hand. I wouldn't know what came over my parents that day because on a normal day, they would have told the children to enter the room as parents are having their own gists. I will not forgive my mother because she didn't say that. But who knows if she saw something because of the way I acting. Well, thank God for my parents because who knows what would have followed. When Tim and his dad left, I was full of thoughts. My happiness of seeing him and the thought of missing him were mixed together, leaving me in a state I couldn't explain. Little did I know that something strange was about happening. As they left, I joined my mother in house chores. When it was time to rest, my dad, as usual, tuned into the news channel. To our disbelief, there comes a breaking news of a ghastly moto accident that claimed all except one. As the name of the victims were being called, with my eyes full of shock, I saw Gregory Jackson, Tim's dad. As if the name mentioned was not enough to convince us, a short video clip showed, and behold, my Tim, before journalists narrating the tragic incident. All I could remember later was seeing my Tim on television because from what I was told, the moment I saw my Tim, I slumped and was revived at the hospital with the help of oxygen. My dad and my mom planned attending the funeral service without me to avoid further problems, but when they saw it wise to take me along, they had no option than to do so. At seeing me, my Tim came and gave me a deep hug. I was his consolation throughout the funeral. Thank God I saw my Tim.
Hi, I'm Emma, and I live in a small city where people are not too much because I love to live a low-key life, and I so much love keeping to myself. My parents complained several times about this type of attitude that I've cultivated, but that's just me. So as time goes on, they have to take me for who I am. So they already know the type of girl I am, so they always let me be at all time. I'm so much quiet and reserved. I'm not the type of person who likes games or do too much on the daily activities. But I like reading novels and watching a lot of movies, especially comedy movies. Because since I already choose to keep to myself, I have to find a means of catching fun by myself. I attend a high school class where students have the choice to do what they like and want. Whenever I'm in class, I'm always reserved and quiet, always. But I do have friends who always love to force words out of my mouth whenever they are around me. I love going to school every day, if not for anything but for the sake of seeing my friends, because I will surely talk whenever I'm around them. On this beautiful morning when I got to class, I noticed a letter was dropped inside my locker, which was so unusual. I decided to open the letter after the class, but while the teacher was in class teaching, all my mind was on was the letter that was dropped inside my locker. Immediately when the teacher left the class, I opened it, and what I discovered was a love letter, which I did not know who dropped it there. I tried to pay so much attention to every guy I came in contact with in class so as to get who dropped the letter, but it was not too available. After a long period of staying in class during the break hour, my friends came to my seat to meet me, and then they all said we should go outside to get something. On our way out, some guys came our way, and trying to get our attention at first, I looked at all of them, thinking maybe it might be one of them that cultivated the habit of dropping the sticky note inside my locker. But with all their facial expressions, I don't think any of them can do such. They tried stopping us, not moving any step out of there, and all we just have to do is to comply. But all of a sudden, a teacher decided to come our way. Then immediately they noticed that the teacher was coming our way. They all left instantly, and we proceeded in getting what we wanted to go by. I told my friends about the sticky note I discovered inside my locker that morning, and they all laughed at me, saying maybe a guy has been stalking me all this while. They then said that one of us should try coming to school very early so that the guy can be caught. But that guy that dropped the sticky note is just too smart and expert. We tried for days, but we could not get the guy, so I told the ladies to forget the issue, that I'm very sure that one day he will surely reveal his identity. As time goes on, it became a regular routine. Every blessed morning when I get to my seat, I will surely find a sticky note with a love quote inside my locker. At some point, I got annoyed and frustrated, but there's no point yelling because I did not know who was doing such a thing. So I decided to stomach it, and I did not tell it to anyone. One day during school hour, a teacher at school was explaining to us a physics experiment, and he made it as a game because he wanted all the students to participate and be carried along. During this process, all students participating closed their eyes and tasted, perceived, and some liquids to tell what it is based on their taste. It was quite fun because all students were carried along for the first time at school, and we all laughed where someone guessed wrong because we all gave various answers, knowing fully well that our tasting boards are different. I really enjoyed the class that day because it was so much different. The following day in class was Friday, so a group of people in class came together and discussed that we should have a get-together party on Saturday, which is the following day. So they asked the whole class about their opinion concerning the party. To my surprise, everyone was happy to hear that they all turned in. Well, as for me, having a get-together party on Saturday, though the plan was a little bit awkward to me because I don't really like associating myself with things like that because I so much love keeping to myself. A venue was picked, and all planned was so fascinating and lovely. Actually, I love the plan because I want to see how it will look for the first time by the beach side, so I decided to hang out that day. When I got home that day, I told my mom about the plan of going to the beach the following day. She was so happy to hear that because she's never seen me going out before. So that night, my mom came into my room and went directly to my wardrobe to select the clothes I will be putting on the following day. When it comes to selecting clothes for an event, my mom is very good at it, and she so much loves me looking good and cute, always. So the day finally came. I woke up so late, maybe because I slept late checking out the clothes my mom was picking for me to wear. I had to rush to the bathroom to have my bath so as to dress up to meet with the event, knowing fully well that I'm late already. After having my bath, I dressed up, looking cute and pretty for the event. After dressing up, I set out for the party immediately. So finally, I got to the venue a little bit late. And trust me, just as planned, all eyes were on me because I was so much looking gorgeous and pretty. After getting there, a guy named Sean in my class ran towards me to give me a long hug and a peck. After he did that, I was so shy to take a step away from where I was standing. But from the look of things, he's been a long-time crush. Throughout the party, Sean was all over me, because that will be the first time he will have the opportunity of talking to me and expressing himself. We both have a walk together, and he told me a lot of things about me which I was so surprised to hear. Then I knew he has been the guy stalking me. Actually, Sean has been the guy dropping all those sticky notes with love quotes under my locker. At first, when he told me he was the one, I was so mad with him. Then I told him that he's a coward. If not, he would have come to me himself and not by note. Then he said he did not know what I was going to say because he did not want to be too forward. Then we both smiled and laughed together. Then we moved on with the party. We hung out and made a walk through a beach and had fun, and then we all decided to go to a friend's apartment. So a small group of us went into the apartment, and here comes the idea to play a blind taste game. Similarly with a game we once played at school. I was so anxious to play the game, but at the same time, I didn't want to join. I simply refused, but then I thought of it that I am the one who is really good in tasting things and smell very good, so I later decided to participate in the end. So as usual, the game started and was getting more interesting and fun, but still yet throughout this period, Sean did not leave my side for once. Well, he might be thinking he might not have this type of opportunity again. So everyone's turn during the game came and went, and here it comes my turn. So a guy closed my eyes and pushed my head towards the object. So I tried to perceive the object. I was not getting it. Then I tried touching it with my nose. At first it was a strong object as I touched it with my nose a bit and said, "It's a pen," as it does not smell at all. They all smiled. And then I was wondering what could it be. I then gave another try, but the object this time was softer. I was then surprised, thinking within me, maybe the object has been changed. But then I asked if they changed the object, and changing the object is outside of game rules. They all said no, that it's still the same object, and I thought, what could it be? But I had no answer. After a little moment of thinking, I grabbed the object with my hand to know what the shape of the object looks like. Then I feel it was a tall object, similar to cylinder, and I immediately opened my eyes. I was so much afraid because it is something inappropriate. When I opened my eyes, what I saw was simply a banana, which was so different to what I felt when my eyes were closed and everyone was laughing at me. I was annoyed, and only Sean could notice it then. He came to walk me home. He explained to me that it was a banana, but still yet, I disagree. I just told him to close the discussion. When I got back home, I greeted my mom with a weird look on my face. Then I went straight to my room. She gave me some minutes to be by myself before she came to meet me. Then she asked me what happened at the party. Then I narrated everything to her, not leaving behind the aspect where Sean came to give me a long hug and a peck. She told me not to be annoyed about the game, though I have forgotten about how I felt during the game period because the thought of Sean is now all over me. So Mom asked me to gist her about Sean. So I did, and we all laughed, and I was happy all through the night. When I got back to school, I discovered that I did not see the sticky note as usual. Then I looked straight down to Sean's seat, and then I saw him smiling. Then I laughed as feel. So the class started, and immediately the teacher came in. Then every other student told the teacher about everything that happened to me at the party, and they laughed. But then the teacher said to me, he will call me one day and tell me a secret behind this game. Then he left the class, but within me I am still not sure if the object was banana at first, or they changed the object during the game, as it softened and changed, and I am still confused, and I will never play that game again. This is the reason why I didn't want to participate in the game earlier. See what it all turns out to be? Please let me know in the comments if you think they've changed the object, or am I just thinking wrong?